what would leadership look like if it was based in a coaching type of relationship? And I think when we talk about leading with a coaching mindset, the thing that is number one is your ability to ask powerful questions. Yeah, when I say powerful questions, I'm really talking about how and what questions versus why questions. Something that has more of an energy of, okay, I hear your idea, so how does this idea support us getting to this particular place, right? Or what about this idea do you believe is gonna allow us to solve for this problem, right? Because then the person who's not on the defensive, they get to, and this is a really key piece in the coaching, they get to go inside themselves and assess what are they trying to articulate. What about this idea is important to them that they believe is going to support the vision, versus you attempting to tell them with your why questions, basically why this is not going to work, right? So the powerful questions is all about bringing something up from them where they actually are the ones that are leading the way. They're coming up with the response.
Yeah, I just think of it, I'm just throw some examples to see what you think about this. So I lead a large team of people, about 125 total, and you're broken up into different groups. And, you know, so we're responsible for a certain activity, and we try to optimize our activity. And then when my team comes forward and say the leaders who report to me, they want to go in a certain direction that's really good for them, I always ask them the question, so if you were to put yourself in the place of your stakeholders, what would they say about this implementation or this change?
Yeah.
How would it help them improve as well? And then all of a sudden you can see, you know, they're starting to think differently, thinking, oh, I'm thinking a little more systemically about the whole of what's going on and how it needs to happen. Another one, I don't know if this ever comes up for you. You know, people say, oh no, we can't do that because we don't have X, we don't have Y, we don't have Z. You say, okay, what would it take to make it happen? What do we need to have in order for it to work? And all of a sudden, this excuse that they had for not getting it done, it's thrown back, and they're like, oh, well, I really didn't think about that. I just knew that we couldn't get it done, so I didn't go further.
Also ends up fostering a culture of empathy, right? Because the way you described just now, when you say, hey, put yourself in your stakeholders' shoes, right? That requires a level of empathy, right? Because you have to put, as soon as you put yourself in somebody else's shoes and you attempt to see it from their perspective, that requires a level of empathy. And so that's what I love about taking a coaching mentality is it actually builds this empathy muscle for people that may not have had a chance to practice that.
You're creating trust, or you're demonstrating that you trust in your employee, which is a way of, one, getting greater engagement, but it's also a way of making sure you're being more inclusive. By asking those powerful questions, even if, for example, you're in a meeting and there's a diverse group of people in the meeting, make sure you're being inclusive and you're asking questions of the people who are in the room to get their different points of view, their different perspectives, so we get a better view of the whole before moving forward.
A lot of people, when they don't take a coaching type of approach, they feel like they need to be driving the direction of the meeting, right? Or they need to be responsible for the outcomes. But when you ask powerful questions and you're there as a guide, right, which is really what a coach is in my opinion, then you can feel into the room and other people, and then that will lead you to include others or to get curious and throw out another question to the group, right? And get more creative, innovative ideas from a group.
Being the leader in the room and saying, hey, yeah, let's get other people's opinions, let's get other perspectives, other voices, and actually coaxing those out of people, because not everybody feels comfortable speaking in a room. especially, we're talking a lot these days about, diversity, inclusivity, equity. A lot of people, wrongly, they haven't been invited to the table. Now we're going to start inviting people to everybody to the table. Now we might have to draw some information out. So let's just leave it on them to sort of fight their way through. Let's actually be proactive. Let's be proactively inclusive, and bring people in and draw them in, because we may get perspectives and ideas that we might not have otherwise gotten.
They bring an element of stretching individuals. And the parallel I'll draw to this from a coaching standpoint is, as you know, we issue challenges a lot, right? And challenges, that's something that I really liken to stretching a person, right? Where they may not see themselves as being able to do something or accomplish something or go in a particular direction. And when you take a coaching type of approach, you're often going to challenge people, challenge them beyond what they believe they're capable of, right? And help them push past boundaries and sometimes self-limiting beliefs that they've created that actually hinder them from being able to express their gifts, right? So we get to bring that level of, I'm going to stretch you, I'm going to be here to support you, but I'm going to stretch you.
Yeah, so I just like to build on that before we go on to the next one. Is challenges can be interesting. I know in the coaching work that we do, you put something out there that's almost outrageous.
Right.
You're almost outrageous. And it just shakes people up out of this stuck place that they are in their minds.
Yeah.
And, to give them, say, hey, here's a challenge for you. Now, you can accept, you can counteroffer. Okay, you can say no. Somebody comes back and says, I can't do that. And then the next question, so if you can't do that, what can you do?
Yes.
And so what you've got the brain turning again, thinking, okay, I'm no longer stuck in this space. A lot of times when, as a leader, we want to develop somebody, we ask them to do something, they think they have to emulate the way we've done it.
Mm.
And then, as you said, taking coaching mindset is really walking them through accomplishing the same results, but in their own unique way. For me, a leader that has more of a coaching mindset is going to be a leader who actually is comfortable and can bring to the table talking about a purpose. What's the purpose of the business? What's the purpose of the department? What's the purpose of something that we're doing? Talking about the why. Simon Sinek's really famous about talking about start with the why. Talking about the vision. Where are we going? What does it look like in the future, in a future state, so that people can begin thinking about that and begin, if they can see it, they can begin making it materialize. But then also talking about the objectives, not necessarily how to achieve the objectives, but to talk about, here's what we're trying to accomplish. How can we do it? So those are a couple other things that I thought a leader with a coaching mindset would bring.
This breeds probably the most innovation out of people, taking this type of coaching mindset, because you open the person up to so much more and curiosity comes alive in them. And I think we touched on this before. That curiosity breeds creativity, which then together, when you marry those two, that's innovation, right? Wrapped around diversity.
Yeah.
Right. So that piece is huge for me. And the second piece I would say is authenticity, right? Because you bring in this human element when you take a coaching approach, and it allows the person to really step into who they are and really start becoming authentic, right? They start feeling safer. And you talk about trust. When people feel like they're trusted and there's a trusted relationship between them and their leader, then they can be more of themselves, right? They become okay to not have the right answer and to be able to fail, right? All those type of things. So those two come screaming out for me. What are your thoughts?
And what I found is by having a coaching mindset, it allows me to develop the leaders behind me who can actually take on more. I understand the big picture, but there's no way I can provide individual direction and guidance as to how to technically get accomplished what to get accomplished. So what I'm able to do by having a coaching mindset is I'm able to amplify my impact, and by developing them to have a coaching mindset, for them to amplify their mindset. So like you talked about innovation, we're actually pushing out the capability to innovate, make decisions way out there, right at the front line where if you will, the customer meets our company. And we can address it directly rather than having go up a chain of approvals, which does nothing but frustrate everybody. So I think that's one of the real key things for me. Another thing, it allows me to take on greater responsibility. Because if I can lead other people and I can coach them and enable them to actually be successful doing what they do, and do it in such a way that we're achieving objectives, and we're co-establishing directions, stuff like that, then I can work on things that are more strategic, more visionary, and more breakthrough, I'll say directional, where we're taking the enterprise as a whole. So I've worked in both service sector, direct customer contact, and I've worked in manufacturing on the line. So it's, building cars, one after the other, the same sort of thing. But even in those instances, bringing your whole self and being engaged and caring about what you're doing, think about it. You're ensuring the quality of product, you're ensuring the quality of service. By allowing people to bring them whole selves, you're actually assuring that your customer experience, whether it be through the purchase of a product, whether it be through the service that they're getting in a theme park, at a restaurant, what have you, that it's what they expect or beyond, so they keep coming back. So it's a way of actually increasing your customer loyalty. So it's a real bottom line impact of allowing people to bring their whole authentic self by adopting a leadership with coaching mindset. So the first thing I'd say is, if you want to become a leader with a coaching mindset, realize you might not be as good as you think right now. So open yourself up to learning.
The easiest way to start this journey is start asking for feedback from the people that report to you, right? I believe in feedback both ways, but you want to know if you have a coaching type of mindset, and are you a coaching type of leader? Ask the people that work for you.
Hey, I just need to interrupt this. What just jumped into my mind, you just triggered, was even if you have the idea, let's say you say, I think we should go right. And so you're talking to your team, I think we should go right. Rather than leaving it there, say, I think we should go right. What do you think? Let's talk about it. What am I missing? So ask for feedback. Even on those little things, ask for feedback, ask for impact.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And be open to the feedback, right? And really make it known that, hey, I genuinely want the feedback because I want to grow, and I want to make sure that I'm creating an environment where you feel like you could grow as well. I don't know how this would be interpreted or how best to articulate this, but get excited about celebrating other people that are on the team, right? When you get to a place where you are jazzed up and excited, if you're in a big meeting and something great happened on your team, a lot of people, they love to, and whether it's conscious or unconscious, I'm providing the update because I'm the lead for the team.
Yeah.
So I'm going to provide the update. I'm going to tell the great things that we did and whatnot. What would it be like if before you started doing that, you had the mindset of, I have an opportunity to celebrate my team or my people or individuals on the team in this, platform that I have. Right. And when you start fostering that, something happens and their names start to get known, they get recognized. And I get addicted to going back to the team and saying, if some of them weren't in that discussion, hey, you know what? People really love the work that you guys did on this area and that area.